Wildcats shooting 46% from the field on the year. See if they can get a little better than that here this afternoon.
Greg Miller for the Lancers wins the tip. It's recovered by Bruce Grimm, their leading guard. And tipped away early on. A turnover for the Wildcats. Derek Troyer now bringing the ball down for the Wildcats in their first possession. Derek Troyer setting things up, coming to his right side, feeds to Widener, who goes under the basket. Nothing there, back out to Hopkins. Wildcats looking good early with good ball movement inside to Hopkins. He decides to kick it out, however, unfortunately throws it right into the hands of number 24, Dayton Merrill.
So tough to get entry passes with 2 6'11" players out there in the starting lineup. It's got to be tough, but there Patrick Hopkins got a little sloppy with the re-entry pass.
All right, so Grace with their second possession. Neither team having gotten off a shot in their first possessions. Chalk it up to nerves. Both first possessions a little sloppy. And it continues with the second possession by Grace as number 52, Duke Johnson, throws it out of bounds. So Derek Troyer brings it up, and Wildcats hope to get settled down here as they have this second possession. And we're going to get a foul early. That's going to go against Grace. And that'll be called to number 24, Dayton Merrill. That is his first, team first. So George Jones IV getting ready now to inbounds the ball for the Wildcats. Grace already substituting. So Derek Troyer getting things set up for the Wildcats. Driving into the lane, kicking out to Widener for three, no good. Aaron Martin just jumps a little bit too soon. The ball is fed into number 52, Duke Johnson. There's 6'11", center, big guy.
That's one thing the Lancers do so well, is limiting second chance opportunities for the Wildcats. They did that last game, just weren't able to shoot from the floor that well. That time they get a great entry pass and up court, and they get an easy bucket.
Patrick Hopkins trying to muscle on the inside. Gets the best shot he possibly can, and it falls short. Brought up quickly up the field, up the floor by Grace. Here's Grimm on the outside, guarded closely by Troyer. Actually, that was Jacob Petty.
Wildcats sticking in the man-to-man, but helping out.
Shot off by Grimm, no good. Rebounded by Aaron Martin. He kicks it out quickly to George Jones. Not the best pass, so George has to slow down. And now the Wildcats setting things up as they begin their offense. Patrick Hopkins having a tough time on the inside. We've seen Chase in the last couple of home games that as soon as Patrick Hopkins gets it on the inside, he's doubled down. Now that time he wasn't, and he had a nice move to the basket and makes that basket.
Really key that Patrick gets going early. He can be very effective part of this offense if they get him going early.
Elliott Smith, who did not start but checked into the game early on, is now running the offense for the Lancers. Bruce Grimm takes a three-pointer. No good. Aaron Martin with a nice defensive rebound. Troyer feeding to Widener. Very nice on a fast break play.
Troyer always has his head on his swivel, looking up the floor, can dribble, drive, and he certainly can dish it off there. Great find in Jordan Widener.
Long three-pointer, and it's good. Elliott Smith, not a whole lot of arc, but enough that he nailed it right in there. And the Wildcats throw the ball away.
You see why this Grace team is number 4 in the country right now. They can beat you in so many ways. Obviously, the big men down inside under the basket, and when you got a couple of three-point shooters like Smith and Petty, certainly they can hurt you in a lot of ways.
David Peters now has checked in, replacing Widener for the Wildcats. I think we're going to see both coaches, it looks early that they've decided to do a lot of substitution and a lot of bringing in and out men to keep this tempo fast. David Peters is charged with the foul. That is his first, the team first. So Grimm dribbling around to his right side, guarded by Jones. Grimm drives on the inside, doesn't have anything, tries to kick it out. It's batted away by the Wildcats. Grace will retain possession of the ball. 19 seconds left on the shot clock.
See another kind of X-factor player out there for the Wildcats right now is David Peters, who just entered the game a moment ago. Came up big in the win at St. Francis last week. We'll see if he can make some contributions here tonight.
Hopkins continues to be the leading scorer for the Wildcats. Three-point attempt off to the right-hand side, no good. Batted around by Martin, and then David Peters pulls that down. So that's Aaron Martin's second defensive rebound in as many possessions. The ball is tossed into Hopkins. Just left it a little bit short. Grace comes back. Here comes Grimm with the shot. No good. Rebounded by Grace. Into number 52, Johnson. Nice little move on Patrick Hopkins.
Duke Johnson, one of the 4 seniors on this lineup, up and under. Got Patrick Hopkins up and made him pay there. 3-point lead for the Lancers.
Impressive body control on the part of Johnson, being 6'11", that he has that kind of coordination, and he was able to make that nice move. Patrick Hopkins dribbling down the inside. He had his man beat and then delayed, but he was able to get that rebound and put it back up and in.
Quick 4 points for Patrick, and a nice turnover here for the Wildcats.
And good job on Taylor Schoen. He'll be inbounding the ball. Jordan Widener back in. David Peters still out. Parker Stauffer now in. Patrick Hopkins taking a rest. Also in for Grace, number 45, Dennis Williams, another 6'11" center. Wildcats having a really difficult time getting the ball on the inside. Here, just as we say that though, really nice play of Jordan Widener dishing to Parker Stauffer for 2 points.
Nice job of drawing Dennis Williams, the big man, out, and they made him pay underneath.
Grimm still in for the Lancers. Shot taken by number 22, Elliott Smith, no good. Schoen comes down with it. The Wildcats now getting ready. Derek Troyer setting, and once again, that same thing. Troyer to Schoen. Not only does Schoen get the basket, but he is fouled by number 45, Dennis Williams, the big man from Kingston, Jamaica. Both teams now with 2 team fouls.
Very impressive there from Schoen. I do not know how he got that up over the right hand off glass, and nice and one opportunity here for the junior.
The Wildcats have made some really nice early adjustments where they have seen an opening in the lane where they're going from Derek Troyer 2 times in a row to, once to Widener and then secondly to Schoen, but they're catching them in a really good position and getting that open lane.
Kind of an uncanny lineup out there as we speak as well. Not very much height, but they're still being effective.
Number 33 is Greg Miller. Passes off to 22, Smith. DJ Bettinger now in for the Wildcats. Wildcats in a zone defense, doing a good job of keeping the Lancers out. They get off an unbalanced shot.
That'll be 2 on the big man, Dennis Williams.
You can see now this replay in the last play where Derek Troyer, and you see Schoen coming off the pick, rolling, and just really a simple, what it looked like a pick and roll. David Peters bringing the ball in for the Wildcats. Getting it to Widener. He gets a shot. He's fouled. That foul is committed by number 22, Elliott Smith.
The Wildcats can get really good quality shots in the paint, go to the foul line, hopefully connect. They've struggled a little bit with that the last several games, but that's really how I think it's got to give them the best chance to win this game.
So Widener makes his first, and as it's been well documented on these broadcasts as well as the local press, we've really struggled with our free throws, so it's nice to start the game making 2 for 2.
There we go.
13-7, the lead for the Wildcats is 6. Wildcats applying a little bit of pressure on the Lancers as they bring the ball up. And Jordan Widener not real happy with that because it looks like he is, in fact he was, called for the foul on that play. Grimm was moving around and Widener thought he had a clean deflection and he was starting to run down for the fast break. Number 40, Carl Columbus in for the Lancers. Columbus thinking about a three-pointer, decides to hold off. He passes to Grimm, who takes a shot. Columbus gets the rebound into number 52, Johnson. That's almost a gimme when you're 6'11" and you got that wide of a shot underneath the basket. Derek Peters driving into the inside, passes out. DJ Bettinger now setting things up to Widener.
See how they're doing a lot of motion offense out on the perimeter, trying to draw the centers out from underneath the basket, but there it looks like we got a moving screen on Parker Stopper.
He was not at all happy with that call. They were running that, they were going to be trying to run that pick and roll again, but you got to be set instead of moving as he does that. 4 points now, the lead for the Wildcats. Double teaming immediately on number 22, Smith. Back over to Smith. Wildcats doing a great job of keeping the Lancers on the outside. A number of their shooters are tempted to take the long shot. Johnson just did. It's no good. Down quickly to Widener for two.
Nice baseball pass from Hopkins, who head was up and fouled Widener with the easy deuce on the other end. Biggest lead for the Wildcats at 6.
George Jones and Aaron Martin getting ready to check back in for the Wildcats. This game is moving at a very, very fast pace. Not a whole lot of clock stoppages at this point. Columbus trying to get the ball into Johnson. Instead, Patrick Hopkins tips it away. Widener coming down, 1-on-2. He takes the shot, it's good. Attempt to do things with the three. However, you got to hand it to the Wildcat defense for keeping them outside the perimeter. Oh, George Jones able to get a foot on it, but it's going to go back to Grace here as they attempt to bring it in bounds once again. Columbus getting it, immediately getting it to Grimm. Grimm pulls up in front of Hopkins. He nails it.
I'm not sure if full court pressure is the answer. Obviously, keeps them on their heels, but this Grace team certainly knows how to break it.
Derek Troyer now bringing the ball up, getting the offense set to run. Hopkins out at the top. Aaron Martin, I don't believe we've seen him take a shot yet. It'd be nice to see him get going on the three-point range tonight. George Jones driving the lane, and unfortunately, number 24, Dayton Merrill had the position, and George Jones is going to be charged with the charge.
Just the first for George, 5th team foul for the Wildcats.
So the Wildcats back off a little bit on the full court pressure. Grace brings it up. Patrick Hopkins immediately puts a body on Johnson, keeping him out. And now the charge is going to go. Well, let me see here. Yeah, it's going to go against Columbus. That is his first, and that is the team 5th.
Wildcats return the favor. A lot of times referees look for that. If they call it on one end, they want to be as fair as they can, and had his feet set outside the circle.
Derek Troyer dribbling to his left, guarded closely by Grimm. Trying to get it to Martin, and unfortunately a little bit of miscommunication between the two of them, and the ball goes out of bounds. So number 24, Dayton Merrill, getting ready to bring it in. He gets it to Grimm. George Jones loosely guarding Grimm as he brings the ball up the court. Tossing it to the right side to Columbus. Johnson out at the top trying to set a pick. Ball gets kicked away. However, Grace is able to maintain possession. Troyer doing an outstanding job over in the corner. Almost a turnover. 12 seconds left on the shot clock for Grace. Now down to 10. And Grace is going to throw the ball away. However, last tipped by the Wildcats. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. So Grace is going to have to be very purposeful as they get the ball in here. Not a whole lot of time to set up any kind of offense. Grimm gets the ball out to Johnson, way outside the three-point shot. Grimm with a long three-pointer, no good, and that is what good defense will do for you. And unfortunately, Derek Troyer stepped out of bounds.
Seems like we've seen that in many games over here, Mark. That side of the court, it just kind of blends in. They're not really paying attention, and Derek Troyer, although he's a senior, he's played here how many times? It still seems to bite you.
Number 3, Lee Ross, the 5'10 guard from South Bend, Indiana, has just checked in for Grimm. More substitution for Grace. Number 21, Jacob Peedy, and then number 33, Greg Miller coming in. 10 minutes now left in the first half, and Ross brings the ball up. Again, guarded loosely by George Jones.
Starting 5 back in there, as you said, Mark, and doing a great job underneath the basket, really keeping number 52, Duke Johnson, at bay.
Wildcats have switched to a man-to-man defense. Whether they're using zone or man-to-man, they've been doing a good job of preventing them from getting on the inside. Ball is rebounded by Troyer, who dribbles up. He decides to kick it out to Martin for 3. Yes! So we wanted to see Aaron Martin get going with the three-point shots, and a nice thing to see for him to get his first shot in the evening and for it to be good. Number 33 now, Greg Miller, getting the step on Martin. So he makes the basket, and he is fouled by number 33, Patrick Hopkins. That is his first, team 6th, so we're just 1 away from the bonus. Here you can see, and unfortunately, Patrick Hopkins kind of tentatively stepped in and slapped him on the wrist.
You hate to see fouls like that, especially with a guy the size of Patrick, just slapping at the ball, and obviously looked like he had a lot of ball on that one, but a lot of times if you slap at it and don't get your body up there with your hands up, they're going to call it more times than not on the offensive side.
So Miller completes the three-point play. 20-14 is the score. Troyer now bringing the ball up. And he tries to get it to Widener, and the refs say that went out on Widener. It looked awfully close that it went off on number 21, Jacob Peedy, but that's not the way the refs saw it. So it's a turnover for the Wildcats, and Grace will get possession.
Careless turnovers for the Wildcats. I think that's how it's been plaguing them. We didn't get to see the game at Grace, but certainly turnovers are an issue, especially when they're that far away from the basket.
DJ Bettinger now in again for the Wildcats, as well as David Peters. So as we were mentioning a little bit ago, both coaches going to their benches early and often. Both teams having the depth on the bench to be able to do that. Ross tossing the ball over to 22, Smith. Double team momentarily. He kicks it out to Ross, who shoots a 3. It bounces in and out. No good. Aaron Martin gets the rebound, kicks it to Bettinger. And the Wildcats will have another opportunity to score. Bettinger gets it to Peters. Parker Stauffer now in, replacing Hopchick. Bettinger with a 3, and it is good.
Huge shot from the freshman. His first points of the night. Couldn't have come out of any bigger time.
23-14, the lead is now 9 for the Wildcats. Ross over on the left-hand side, guarded by Bettinger. He kicks it over to 21, Peedy. Miller driving in against Stauffer. He puts it up too hard. It's tapped out by number 24, Merrill. And the Wildcats, once again, are able to come down with the rebound. David Peters needs some help at this moment. He's stuck, and DJ Bettinger comes to his aid. Schoen and Jones getting ready to check in for the Wildcats. David Peters dribbling around that pick set by Stauffer. Aaron Martin, nice drive and nice elevation to the basket.
Pump fake really set that up, got his defender in the air, and off glass he went. The Wildcats doing a great job of drawing the defenders out and then driving to the basket, often dishing. There, Aaron finished himself.
Chase, when you see the Wildcats playing like this, you just wonder, why have we lost as many games as we have lost? Another shot by Grace, no good. Jordan Widener bringing it down, getting it to Stauffer. He drives and jams.
Parker Stoffer rises high, his 4th point of the night. Wildcats up the biggest lead of the game at 13.
27-14.
For them going into the postseason.
St. Francis is on the road at Spring Arbor tonight, so that's a big game. And if we get a chance, if we get that score, we'll try to keep you up on what's happening in that contest. Meanwhile, in our contest, Grace has the ball, 6:42 remaining in the game. 13-point lead on the part of the Wildcats. Miller driving. He has nothing. He kicks it out to Smith, who shoots the 3, and he gets it.
Second triple for Smith.
DJ Bettinger now bringing the ball up. Taylor Schoen in, Parker Stoffer in, Peters and Jones. Jones the only starter on the floor right now for the Wildcats. So David Peters once again attempting to bring it in. The same 5 that were out there before the timeout are still in. Bettinger dribbling around to his right-hand side to Jones. Stoffer out to Peters, over to Bettinger, into George, and he attempts to get it out there, and we're going to have an over and back violation, and if we hadn't have gotten that, we would have had a shot clock violation as well. Only 3 seconds left on the shot clock by the time that occurred.
Hate to see that after a timeout by Coach Tonigal. A little disoriented, and George got up in the air. You're not supposed to do that as an offensive player, but he threw it away. DJ Bettinger couldn't corral it back in.
Grimm back in. He shoots a 3. He's been cold, which is good for us. That shot was no good. Now Miller takes a shot, and he makes it. It's just a 2-pointer, but they're on a 5-0 run since they took their timeout about a minute ago. At this point, these 5 on the offensive end for the Wildcats have looked a little out of sync. Taylor Schoen getting the ball into Stoffer. He doesn't have any place to go with it. He puts it on the floor, back out to Bettinger with a long 3, and that is good.
Showing unlimited range, DJ Bettinger 2 for 2 from deep.
A much-needed basket given the fact that Grace had gone on a 5-0 run. Peters knocking the ball out of the hands of Greg Miller, which was a great defensive play because Miller was wide open under the basket. Peters now taking a seat, replaced by the much taller Aaron Martin.
Well, you're right, Mark. There's been a lot of substitutions. Kind of wonder if they can get into much of a groove out there. There's so many in and out.
Turnaround jumper, no good. Rebounded by Grace. Back to number 21, Petey. Petey gets it to 24, Merrill. Grimm guarded closely by Martin. They're not finding anything on the inside. Oh, they're going to call a foul on number 13, DJ Bettinger, for pushing.
It will be in the 1-and-1 bonus, the 7th team foul for the Wildcats. First on DJ.
So number 33, Greg Miller, the 6'6" sophomore from Akron, Indiana. He will get a shot, a 1-on-1, and the first one is good. Patrick Hopkins now in for Stoffer. We've not kept a stopwatch on these substitutions, but I'll tell you, Coach Tonigal keeping the team fresh.
Yep. And like we said in the pregame, Coach Tonigal knows how to play Grace, so there's maybe more than we can see to it.
A little bit of defensive pressure applied. George Jones wide open and jams it.
Two-handed tomahawk for George Jones the 4th. Get out of here, he says.
So we're seeing 2 things tonight that we have not seen in 2012 here at home. We've seen a number of 3-point shots, and here's the replay of George going in and hammering it. And we've already seen 3 jams tonight on the part of the Wildcats. We've not seen those things. So fast break offense working well for the Wildcats.
Get these fans fired up out there. It's a blackout night, of course, for the students. A good turnout. They've been rolling in throughout the evening more and more.
Number 52, Johnson, the 6'11" center for Grace, now in. He's been on the bench for a while, though he does not have foul trouble. George Jones with the rebound after the missed shot. George drives. Nice drive to the lane, and he gets it.
George takes it with the left hand. A lot of confidence in that drive to the basket.
13 now, once again, is the lead on the part of the Wildcats. Grimm trying to dribble around, seeing an opening inside that defense, and he does get a step on the defense and drives to the basket. Bettinger guarded closely by Grimm, gets it into Hopkins. He turns around over the big 6'11" guy, misses. Ball is tossed over to 21 Petey for three, and it's good.
Boy, they make you pay, Mark. Just when you think you got a nice little lead, back in it come the Lancers, cut it to 8.
Lancers starting to get a little better with their three-point shooting. We're going to get a foul there on number 44, Grimm. That is advantage of the bonus quite yet. Jordan Widener now checking in for the Wildcats. And Troyer also back in. He's running the offense once again. Gets it to Martin, who gets it into Hopkins. Hopkins tosses cross court to Troyer. Showing down on the inside, hands off to Troyer. He decides not to take that shot. Troyer, though, does pull up. No good.
Ooh.
And the rebound by Taylor Schoen. And what's going to be the call? The refs have not indicated. They're conferring right now what the deal is. And they score the basket. All right, well, that's good news, bad news. The basket is scored, but the foul will be called on number 33, Patrick Hopkins.
A lot of contact inside there. You see in the lower part of your screen. Patrick kind of gets horse-collared, if you want to say. They will count the basket, like you said, so 10-point lead, but...
Oh, well, there you can see Patrick just took him down.
He says, I'm not going to go down without a fight, I think.
That's acceptable in football, but not in basketball. So, Johnson will now go to the line shooting one-on-one. A little surprised that Patrick was unhappy with that call. I suspect he would argue his arm was tangled up there.
Right.
But nevertheless, however you look at it, that didn't look good.
So his second foul puts him on the bench. Parker back out there.
So Johnson misses the second. It's tipped around by the Wildcats, but they finally pull it down. Taylor Schoen pulls it down. Schoen did a great job. We didn't have a chance to really talk about that play last time they're on the offensive end. Great job of pulling the rebound and immediately going back up and in. Weiner putting into Stauffer, who's in for Hopkins. Stauffer going in against 6'11" Johnson, and he is going to be charged with the charge.
Second now on Parker Stauffer as well. He kind of put the shoulder down a little bit, but it might have been a little flop by the big man, 52, Duke Johnson. I mean, he's 6'11", there's a lot to him there, but he got his feet set and might a little bit of acting.
Well, I'll tell you, from that angle, it didn't look like. However, from our angle here where we're seated,
he sold it.
that was a big body move. So Troyer. Oh, and Stauffer having a nice attempt at putting it back in and misses it. Fast break for the Lancers. And number 21, Jacob Petey, gets the basket.
Great ball movement by the Lancers. Looking up floor and cut it to 7 now.
Nice pass by Troyer into Schoen, and immediately the big men collapse on him, and Schoen gets fouled. He gets fouled by number 33, Greg Miller. That is his first. Both Miller and Johnson for Grace with 7 points currently. So Taylor Schoen goes to the line. He will be shooting 2. The bonus now is in effect for the Wildcats. And so the first free throw is missed. Here you can see how that went, and he just got clobbered.
Hey, you at the line! You!
And he misses the second. Unfortunately, Aaron Martin kind of tangled up in the rebound. Grimm trying to drive in. And Derek Troyer doing a nice job of tipping it away from Smith. The Lancers retain possession.
Crucial minute, 37 left here for the Wildcats. If they can hold off and maybe maintain a 7-8 point lead going into this halftime, that'd be huge.
Ball is inbounds to Grimm. He drives, has a nice layup.
Hey, one more stop!
So we've held Grimm to only 6 points in this first half, but those 6 points he's made have been very important points. Aaron Martin getting the ball over to Taylor Schoen. Parker Stauffer down low wanting the ball, but there's no opening there. Widener, however, gets it out. Not the best pass, but fortunately Troyer is able to get it. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Jordan Widener now into Parker Stauffer, who shoots. No good.
Lancers are making the Wildcats work for every little thing down on the offensive end.
So 5-point lead is all that the Wildcats have. Grimm's shot, no good. And we're going to have a foul on number 21, Jacob Petey. That is Petey's first. So Derek Troyer will go to the line, shooting a one-on-one. 44.9 seconds remaining in this first half. Wildcat lead has been as big as 13, 2 different times in this first half. And slowly, the Lancers have just fought their way back into this contest here in the last couple minutes of the first half.
Wildcats' biggest lead was 13, I believe. Nice run by the Lancers, and 44 seconds left. We'll see if Derek Troyer can cap this off at the foul line. He's been pretty decent from the line all year.
Coach Tonigal, I know, has had this team really working on their free throws.
Oh, yeah.
So Derek Troyer makes the first of the one-on-one. Now it is a 6-point game. George Jones in, David Peters in, Taylor Schoen in, and for the first time, number 32, Zach Vandewater in. We have a smaller lineup in for the Wildcats. Troyer hits the second free throw, and now DJ Bettinger checking in. So Greg Miller inbounding for the Lancers. He gets it to Grimm. Elliott Smith over here on the left-hand side, back to Grimm. Lancers get the ball over the half-court line just fine. Vandewater guarding closely, and number 21, Jacob Petey, stepping out of bounds. Turnover for the Lancers.
Huge defensive effort there for the Wildcats. Moving your feet, not reaching in, and that's big because the Wildcats will have the last shot of this half.
Shot clock is off with 33.2 seconds remaining, and it is a 7-point advantage for the Wildcats. More substitution on the part of Coach Tonigal. Vandewater out. Jones is in, Martin is in, Widener, and Taylor Schoen. And the refs have stopped action for a moment. Not sure what that call was. The ref here to our right, all the way at one end of the court, stopping play. So the Wildcats bring it in. Derek Troyer now walking it up. The danger always with waiting for the last second is that by the time we get down to 10 seconds to actually run the shot, the defense will be clogged up well enough that they won't have a good open look. We've seen that happen before. So now we're down to 10 seconds, and one can anticipate the Wildcats trying to run something, but once again, having a hard time. Widener with a reverse layup, and it is good. So it should be an interesting second half. In that first matchup, we outscored the Lancers by 3 points in the second half. So the Wildcats, having lost the tip in the opening of the game, they get possession here in the second half. Troyer dribbling, giving to Widener. Widener is getting somewhat double teamed, leaving Aaron Martin wide open for three. He misses it. Boy, that would have been a nice start to the second half to put that three down. So Bruce Grimm Jr. brings the ball up. And the ball is kicked out to Johnson, who's out around the free throw line, almost tipped away, and then tipped away by Aaron Martin. And Grace will retain possession with 20 seconds left on the shot clock. So Grimm once again setting up the offense. Out to Petey. Johnson out at the top of the key, guarded by Aaron Martin. He dumps off and now moves back down on Patrick Hopkins. A lot of positioning going on there down under the basket. Shot for three with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Number 24, Dayton Merrill, drops it.
Like you said, huge. Milked the clock down to 2 seconds and drilled the three-pointer. A lot of physical play inside under the basket, too.
Derek Troyer opting to take it all the way in, not having a good shot. Shoots off balance, does not get it. And so now 6 points is the difference inside to Johnson. He misses the shot. And it's going to go the Wildcats' way.
Coming out here in the first minute or so of the half, you kind of wonder what Coach Jim Kessler for the Lancers said to them at halftime. Obviously, if there's a way to win this game, he can figure it out. Over 600 career wins for him. Great coach, really a great coaching battle here tonight as well.
Widener now on the left-hand side, dribbling around to his right. And he throws it away. It's intercepted by Petey. Misses the shot. Widener coming on down. He tosses over for Martin to three, and he makes it.
Huge shot there for Aaron Martin, the junior. 8 points for him. More importantly, puts IWU up 9.
Grimm driving in on Patrick Hopkins. Nice shot, but it doesn't drop. And so back come the Wildcats. 2 minutes have already gone in this second half. Patrick Hopkins, triple team, doesn't really have much. Tipped away, but he retains it, gives it to George. Jones drives for the basket.
Nice lefty in the lane there for George Jones.
And now it's back to 9 points, 45-34. Ball is dropped down to Miller, out to Johnson at the free throw line. The big man shoots, rolls around, no good, rebounded by Jones. Now handing off to Widener. Widener dribbling around towards the center. Gets it into Hopkins. Oh, he's wide open. Gets it and is fouled. I think that foul, yes it is, going to go against number 52, Duke Johnson.
That'll just be his first.
It is his first.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really been nice, Chase, and here we see a replay. Patrick Hopkins has the position on Johnson. Just wait and gets the shot. The refs have really done a great job in this game just letting both teams play. No foul trouble for either team. Both teams did go into the bonus in the first half, but
not till the waning minutes either, though. So yeah, like
exactly.
you said, haven't really. If you don't notice the refs, they're doing their job correctly.
Exactly. And a three-pointer by Merrill. That is his second of the half. Troyer now bringing the ball, getting it into Hopkins, who's guarded closely by Miller. Hopkins turns around, misses it, just out of the reach of Jones for the rebound. And then Grace throws the ball away. Grimm not able to catch up with that pass. Aaron Martin now going to bring the ball in for the Wildcats. And so the ball is inbounds to Troyer. Parker Stauffer getting ready to check in for the Wildcats. So 3.5 minutes in, we're getting ready to have our first substitution. It looks like Miller is going to get the foul as the ball came into Patrick Hopkins. That is Miller's second. So Stauffer is in. Hopkins takes the seat.
Into the Lancers, number 22, Elliott Smith.
Kind of interesting decision to put Patrick back on the bench. Obviously 2 fouls for Patrick, but he's done a nice job of controlling his body on the offensive end, not causing an offensive foul, but they get a break.
Oh, nice inbounds from George Jones to Widener, who immediately goes up. High arcing shots, nothing but net. And so Grace back on offense. Elliott Smith is checked in now for the Lancers. The ball is into Miller and blocked by Stauffer. Derek Troyer now drives with an open lane, a good shot.
I think he thought someone was going to come guard him, but he didn't. He just went right in with the right hand, finishes off glass.
Troyer now with 4 points, and Grace is going to call a timeout, 52-30. And we're back to live action now. Grace has the ball, 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Grimm trying to get it into Johnson, guarded closely by Stauffer. Miller with the shot. And Miller's got a pretty good shot. If he gets about 8-10 foot range, he's been pretty deadly this evening.
9 points for the sophomore from Akron, Indiana.
Stauffer now on the inside, tosses it back out to Troyer, who dribbles to his right around Martin. Into Stauffer. David Peters now in the game. He takes it from Stauffer, drives to his right. Peters setting a pick. Aaron Martin for three, just a little off. Stauffer with the rebound, up and in.
Count it for Parker Stauffer. Still another kind of a silly foul there for number 52, Duke Johnson. He's had a couple of those here tonight at 6 points for Parker and 2
so far. Parker Stauffer now getting set to go to the line. He just has one free throw. He was fouled as he made the shot, so he's looking to complete the three-point play. And unfortunately misses it. The ball is tipped around, and Taylor Schoen comes up with the rebound. So, didn't get the three-point play, but we have the opportunity to get a 4 or 5 point play on this now. Widener trying to drive in. He steps back, gives it over to Troyer, who gets it into Stauffer. He goes against the other 6'11" big man. And that time, Dennis Williams is able to shut him down. Three-point attempt by Merrill, no good. He has the hot hand. Schoen down there wrestling with Johnson. And that's been tied up, and possession arrow goes in favor of Grace. Referees conferring, making sure shot clock and everything is all set the way it's supposed to be. And now just making sure the floor is dry.
It's pretty intimidating seeing two 6'11" big men out there at the same time, Mark.
I'm a little surprised they don't do it more often, at least so far in this game. The ball is into Johnson, and Taylor Schoen will be charged with the foul. That is his first. Actually, the team first for the second half. So first foul on the part of the Wildcats here in the second half. Almost 5.5 minutes into this game. Grimm trying to get the ball in, has a hard time. He finally gets it out to Merrill. Tosses it back to Grimm. Merrill has had the hot hand with three-pointers here in the second half. Ball trying to get inbounds to Merrill. Stauffer tips it away. 21 seconds left on the shot clock. Lancers will keep possession.
Nice help side from Parker, and they're going to need that, especially with this shorter lineup, especially here on the inbounds.
Grimm once again having a hard time finding somebody. He finally gets it into Elliott Smith. Williams now. Back to Merrill. Back to Grimm, who tries to drive. He shoots off balance. No good. Rebound by Troyer, who tosses it to Widener. And unfortunately, that pass was just a little too far. But fortunately for the Wildcats, they will retain possession. Wow. I think Jordan Widener got a little excited. Troyer just couldn't catch up with that pass. David Peters inbounding to Stauffer. He kind of bumps Williams to back off a little bit. No foul called. Widener on the left-hand side. He dribbles around. He thought Parker Stauffer was cutting to the lane, and Stauffer had an open lane, and unfortunately Stauffer was off balance and wasn't able to get his body moving towards the basket.
Good look, just a little miscommunication there by the part of the two sophomores.
Well, another foul by the Wildcats. This is the second on David Peters. One of the things the refs do seem to be calling, a lot of bumping that's going on between the two teams. They're keeping an eye on that.
That's going to pick up here. 13 plus left in this half. We're going to see a lot more physical play, especially underneath the basket.
Columbus now in for the Lancers, as well as number 40, or that is Columbus, sorry. Grimm losing possession. David Peters picks it up. It's a one-on-one. He drives, and it is tipped away as well as he is fouled. So we'll see. That foul is called on number 22, Elliott Smith. That is his second, the team fourth. David Peters will go to the line and shoot two. We don't have an updated score, but we did hear at halftime St. Francis had a 38-23 lead over Spring Arbor. Here comes David Peters. Get a chance to see that replay, and you can see he was, without question, fouled on that play. He misses the first, and he makes the second. 16 now is the lead for the Wildcats. The biggest lead of the evening. Columbus trying to get around Peters. He gets the ball over the half-court line. However, almost taken away by Peters. Johnson on the outside by Stauffer. And Stauffer, we were just talking about that. These refs are calling that bumping around really closely, and so that is Stauffer's third.
Parker had that one hand up, but he had this left arm on his defender there, and that's what was called.
Columbus getting the ball in now to Grimm. Over to Smith. Johnson out at the key, guarded by Patrick Hopkins. Columbus wanted to do something, couldn't get it. Bettinger, and in and out, rebound by Peters. Wildcats continue to be monsters on the defensive boards. So Bettinger setting things up and getting ready as he dribbles to his left, gets it over to George Jones. Taylor showing into Patrick Hopkins. One of the things the Wildcats have done a great job as the game progressed. Early in the game, the Lancers were doubling down every time we went inside to Hopkins or to Stauffer, and we have been able to be very effective in pick and rolls and other things to make sure that we get our guys open. There he goes, Hopkins with the basket.
9 points for Patrick, and like we said, if he gets going as he has in the last couple of possessions, that's very huge for the Wildcats, and he's got a little rest, so he should be fresh and ready to go.
Stauffer, actually, while he's got 3 fouls, he has really played a lot of minutes tonight. And that foul was called to number 22, Elliott Smith. That's his third. So I think Grimm and Johnson take a seat for Grace. Aaron Martin back in, showing out, Peters out. And let's see who also came in for the Wildcats. Well, Bettinger and Martin. So Bettinger bringing the ball up. Wildcats still trying to figure out what offense they want to run. They've got their act together now and running the offense. Bettinger on the left-hand side. He dribbles around to the right to get to Jones. Jones into Hopkins, who has the position. Oh, just a little too strong on the basket. No good. Grace coming up. And Petey pulling it back out to Columbus, who has a nice little nifty dribble. However, Wildcats still having great defense. Really a big battle going on between Hopkins and Williams. And Williams, for Grace, loses the battle, charged with a foul. That is his second. The team 6th. So Grace is only one more foul away before before the Wildcats get into the bonus situation. Bettinger bringing the ball up against Columbus, guarded closely. He successfully gets it across the half-court line. Peters dribbles over to Jones, who drives, kicks it out to Bettinger for 3, and we see another for DJ Bettinger, the freshman.
Talk about a specialist, 3 for 3 from Three-Land. DJ Bettinger, 9 points now, and boy, that's huge. He hits them at just the right time.
The lead now is 21. And we're going to be called a lane violation on the part of the Lancers. So right now, nothing going that the Wildcats are playing up to their potential.
Against the number 4th ranked team in the country, no less.
DJ Bettinger now bringing it up with a little bit of pressure. Has a nifty move on Lee Ross. Continues to be closely guarded. Grace running a man-for-man defense. Under the basket is wide open as the entire offense for the Wildcats has moved out beyond the three-point line. Now we're setting things back up. George Jones, though, still way back out there. 7 seconds remaining in the shot clock. DJ Bettinger to Hopkins for 3.
If that would have gone, we would have known it's our night.
Now we know why Hopkins doesn't shoot more threes. Number 21, Petey for 3, and he gets it. That's the first basket in a number of minutes for the Lancers.
They were stuck on 39, like you said, Mark. 8 points now for Petey.
So DJ Bettinger running things for the Wildcats. Wildcats look in the last two possessions like they've slowed things down just a little bit, and Aaron Martin is going to get called for the foul. That is his first. That is the team fourth. So Jones takes a seat and Bettinger takes a seat, and in their place comes Widener and Troyer.
Let's not forget what happened in the Bethel game just 2 weeks ago here at home. Double-digit lead for the Wildcats with just a few minutes left to play, and they came back and they lost that game by 3 points. So the Wildcats really have to keep the foot on the pedal here, so to speak, and finish this game off.
We saw towards the end of the first half, Grace just slowly clawed their way back in. And then in the last minute, the Wildcats were able to go from about a 5-point difference to a 9-point difference.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron Martin now picking up another foul. That is his third, team fifth. Both teams under the bonus. So George Jones checks back in, and Aaron Martin takes a seat. Lancers trying to get the ball in. They get it into Ross, the little guy under the basket.
Bounce it off the defender. That's the old trick. And it gets him to go there. Lee Ross, I don't know if he's done that before, but looked pretty good on that one.
And Coach Tonigal is not happy, and with good reason. The
big one towards that too, Mark.
Yeah, and given how cloistered everybody is in the center, you know, the Wildcats can't take it for granted that they're a shoe-in for the MCC tournament. They've really got to play well coming down this stretch.
Yeah, top 8 teams go into that.
Not to mention even just getting a good seeding, a high seeding, so they have some good matchups early, and so they can get to the conference championship game. So Troyer on the outside, getting over to Jones. Again, things have slowed down and a little bit of sloppy play. Turnover for the Wildcats. Here comes Ross. He gets the ball over to Merrill, who has been hot earlier in this half from three-point range. He's cooled off a little bit, as has this entire Lancer team. Miller down under, getting it over Hopkins. So 14 points, and now another turnover. Ball is tipped around. It's coming back over here to Smith for three. Wow. And just like that, we've lost 10. Normally, we'd be ecstatic about an 11-point lead, but in the last 2 minutes, we have seen our lead go from 21 to 11. And now we have Jordan Widener wide open, having off to Hopkins, and it's good. Excellent job of burning that pressure that the Lancers applied. Very important basket. Ross now running the offense for Grace. He drives it in, doesn't get a shot, gives it over to number 24, Merrill, and we have some big-time contact here between Ross and George Jones, the fourth, and they're going to tee it up. Lee Ross getting the technical, not happy with the call against him, and he is going to get the technical. I don't know that he fully deserved that, but we'll take it.
Yeah, right in front of us, Mark, as he said that. Didn't think he was deserving of that foul call. He looked right at the ref, so we saw him, and he said, in some words, he said that was a bad call.
Jordan Widener now making his free throw. He gets one more. And Widener making both of them. Really important. When you have a game that has the potential to be really close, we get inside of 10 minutes, we better start making every single free throw opportunity we get.
And that's kind of a momentum swinger too, Mark. Clock stopped. IWU kind of reeling after this 10-0 run by the Lancers, and then they get a technical foul call by the junior Ross, and let's see if they can turn this around. Already, again, a 15-point lead.
George Jones going to the line because we're in the bonus situation now, so he'll shoot 1-1. And George Jones coming through with that free throw. So here in the last, minutes in real time, not in clock time, 3 for 3 in free throws. And that lead is back up to 16, and tipped around, missed. George Jones with a rebound. Oh, he was going for the jam, and it got away from him. So we got the ball back. Troyer tipping it out to Hopkins. Widener for three. No good. George Jones with the rebound. Up and in.
Leaping high, George Jones corrals the rebound and puts it up for two. 9 points for George Jones, the junior.
Well, whatever Coach Tonigal said to the Wildcats during the last time out, it has worked because the momentum has totally changed back in the direction of the Wildcats.
Yeah, it doesn't take much either way. Kind of flip the switch back on if you're a Wildcat.
And number 24, Merrill, nice drive, doesn't get it. And I think Patrick Hopkins is going to get called with the foul. The Lancer faithful wanting that foul sooner than the refs called it.
We got a nice little contingent here behind us, too, that have traveled from Winona Lake.
And they have been very quiet here in the second half, with the exception of that right there.
They're coming alive.
Not yet in the bonus. Wildcats only have 16 fouls. Merrill driving to the basket. It's no good. Bounced around. And number 20, Nico Reed. We haven't seen him in the game. And Miller gets a wide open pass. Nico Reed, freshman guard from Aurora, Colorado. We haven't seen him. He hasn't gotten any playing time, so he's new in the game. Stauffer getting ready to check back in for the Wildcats. He's got 3 fouls, so he's been on the bench for a little while. David Peters back out to Troyer. The ball got tipped around. Troyer going in. Nice drive. Misses. And Reed now bringing the ball up. And a 3-point shot by Petey.
No hesitation there from the senior. He got his feet set, squared up, and he knocks it down. Just 11 points. Really one of their leaders out there, though, and more importantly, cuts the lead to 13 for the Lancers.
And George Jones just has the ball tipped away. Merrill with the steal. George didn't especially like that. He felt he was fouled. And Coach Tonigal calls another timeout because it's going to allow a team like Grace, who's obviously a good team.
Yeah.
It's going to allow them to hang around.
Yeah, no matter how good a field goal percentage you're shooting.
George Jones now getting the ball over to David Peters, who's running the offense at the moment. Gets it into Widener, out to Troyer, across court to Jones, back out to Peters. Stauffer. Once again, good ball movement here on the Wildcats' part. This is where we see a lot of good points. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Troyer needing to shoot. He does, and it's good.
1 second left on the shot clock, and the senior, with the awareness, looks at the clock and gets it to go in the lane with the right hand.
69-56, 5:40 remaining in this game. The Lancers now on the offensive side, also with fairly good ball movement. However, all night long, Wildcat defense has done a great job of keeping them on the outside and simply not able to get off good shots. Stauffer doing a good job on the inside on Miller. Merrill around, guarded by Jones. They now have 3 seconds on the shot clock. Long three made by number 21, Jacob Petey, the senior guard from Logansport.
Boy, he has a quick release and gets up in the air, elevates, and finishes from three-lander. That's at least his 3rd tray on the night.
10-point lead now for the Wildcats. You see why Grace has only lost 3 all year. They just keep hanging around. David Peters now dribbling the left-hand side. Unfortunately, not a good pass. Trying to get it between 2 defenders. Doesn't do it. Nico Reed going all the way to the hoops.
Just a freshman.
61. And Coach Tonigal with another timeout. We've seen here in the last 5 minutes good action here coming down the close. So 4:35 remaining in this game. DJ Bettinger now in for the Wildcats. Tosses it over to Troyer. Gets it into Martin. And George Jones with the rebound, and he gets it.
Great job by George following up the shot. Aaron Martin, tough one, but George was right there. That's why you always follow your shot and stick around for the offensive board, and it pays off there for George Jones, the 4th.
That foul was called on number 24, Dayton Merrill, and here you can see Aaron Martin had a shot blocked. George Jones rebounded and put that ball right up and in, and so George getting ready to complete the 3-point play, and he does.
Wildcats will shoot 2 from here on out the last 4.5 minutes, so it's going to be key to connect from the charity stripe.
So now Nico Reed back in for the Lancers. Also for the Wildcats, Taylor Schoen, Patrick Hopkins, George Jones, DJ Bettinger, and Derek Troyer. Nico Reed not seeing a whole lot of action this evening, but he's come in and given a nice spark to the Lancers. And Reed takes a 3, and he makes it.
It's not always the quantity of minutes, it's the quality, and Nico Reed, the freshman, has put in some quality minutes tonight. 5 points for him.
Derek Troyer over onto the right-hand side. Patrick Hopkins out at the key, setting a pick. Patrick Hopkins still out at the top, staying out at the top. Taylor Schoen now getting the ball into Hopkins, immediately double team. He keeps his body moving, no foul, and he throws it away. Not a good pass. Nico Reed intercepts and misses. Troyer with the rebound. They come back, 3.5 remaining, and Troyer pulls back and allows everybody to get set and to run their offense. George Jones now at the top of the key, flipping it to Troyer. Troyer trying to get it into Hopkins, and instead the ball, there will be a foul called on number 33, Greg Miller, and that is his third. So we're in the double bonus. So consequently, Patrick Hopkins will get to shoot 2.
You see Miller really frustrating Hopkins underneath that last possession. That was forcing the turnover. Patrick got a little careless, was frustrated, and threw it away. Luckily, it didn't cost them on the other end, but nice job by Patrick hitting the first of 2.
Patrick has struggled a little bit at the free throw line, especially as we get down the stretch. And so that's an important basket. He can relax and put this second one down. 9-point difference. And just a little off to the right-hand side. Doesn't make a drop. Goes 1 for 2. The lead continues to be 9. Nico Reed now bringing the ball up for the Lancers. He's getting the offense set. Gets it out to Petey. Nico Reed now on the left-hand side, shooting, and my gosh, does he have the hot hand? And he gets the 3.
Feeling it is the freshman, cuts it to 6. Just a little bit over 2.5 left to play.
George Jones setting things up, tossing it over to DJ Bettinger, who dribbles to the center, hands it off to Troyer. Wildcats slowing it down just a little bit, not something that we have necessarily see them do well. 11 seconds left on the shot clock as Troyer resets things, trying to take some time off. Bettinger for 3, no good. Schoen with the rebound. And now they got a fresh shot clock, and they're going to set it up again with 2:15 remaining.
Oh. That's going to be on Patrick Hopkins, clearing out foul. Him and Miller have been battling down there all night, and this time Miller gets the better of it, going the other way, and that's a huge turnover for the Wildcats.
And that was the 7th team foul, which will means that the next foul, we're in the bonus situation. So David Peters applying a little bit of pressure to Nico Reed. He hands it off to Miller, to Petey. 2 minutes remaining in this game. A 6-point difference, 73-67. Petey closely guarded, Johnson back in. Miller for a long 3, and he makes it. All of a sudden, as cold as they were in the first half, they've gotten really hot.
All the way from 21 points down, the Lancers cut it to 1 possession. A little over a minute left to play.
And Coach Tonigal says, keep it going. No more timeouts. You guys have got to do this thing yourself. Taking a page from the coaching book of Phil Jackson. George Jones down inside against the big man, and a nice turnaround jumper. Big, big basket. A minute 18 remaining. Nico Reed bringing it up. David Peters giving him a little bit of pressure. Wildcats now in a man-to-man, and George Jones with the tip and a steal. He drives it in. Oh! He gets fouled, and that ball just about dropped.
Man, 2 huge possessions from George Jones, making plays happen. hanging in the lane for that jumper, and now hopefully knocking down 2 free throws here to extend this lead, but really a lot of aggressive play and confident play from the junior George.
Yeah, George, great play on the offensive end, and then another great play on the defensive end. Now he'll get a chance to shoot 2. That fouls on Dayton Merrill. That is his 3rd. Jones missing his first free throw. Here we see the replay. George driving to the center. He had a tough job coming in. Big man Johnson goes out. Miller, Merrill on the inside of the free throw line. Jones getting ready to shoot his 2nd free throw. And he misses that. And the ball is going to go out of bounds, and the Wildcats will get possession. That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Loose ball, the Wildcats underneath their own basket. It never pays to go after the ball.
College Lancers. Wildcats have had a bigger lead as 21, and Lancers have just really come back on a nice run. George Jones, yes, the basket counts, and he will be fouled again. Now, George, you gotta make this basket.
Huge 4 points for George Jones in the last minute of play. Like you said, though, this free throw right here will be huge.
7-point difference. George has the opportunity to make this lead 8. The way the Lancers have been putting down threes recently, even an 8-point lead is not enough. And he misses it. We've seen this we've seen this from George before, where he just doesn't get in a good rhythm at the free throw line. Taylor showing outstanding effort, interrupting the ball. He went flying into the Grace College bench. 48 seconds remaining, and we're going to get a push off on number 10, David Peters. That is his 3rd, and because we're in the bonus, Grace will go to the line shooting 101.
There's one thing that doesn't show up on the stat sheet for Taylor Schoen and David Peters. It's their competitiveness and their passion for this game. Obviously, you see them, little offensive defensive exchange. They're going to go back out, but those 2 players, that's why they're in there at the end of the game. Not necessarily got to have, huge stats and huge numbers, but boy, they know how to win games, and they're very passionate about this team.
At the beginning of the season, Coach Tonigo called Taylor Schoen his enforcer. And
that's about right.
He really does a great job. First free throw, and it is good. This is number 22, Elliott Smith. You're not going to be able to see it on camera, but right on the right-hand side at that end, we have the Scotsman from Hodson Hall making lots of noise, and there you see that shot. And unfortunately, didn't do anything. Elliott Smith making both of the shots, now a 5-point lead. And DJ Bettinger is able to get the ball across the half-court line right away. He's running around to prevent getting fouled. Widener going to hold on to the ball. He is a good free throw shooter. And he finally will get fouled by number 21, Jacob Petey. That is his 3rd. Petey with 14 points on the evening. He's had a good night. Wildcats getting ready to substitute with Peters, Schoen, and Jones. Refs are saying, hold on a second. You guys get 2 shots here, so just we'll do it after the first shot. And Widener, with that high arc, makes that drop, so we're back to a 6-point game with 34.5 seconds remaining.
Ball security huge here in the last 34 seconds for the Wildcats. That's what was their nemesis against Bethel, but nice job there by DJ and Jordan. And see if Jordan can stretch this to a 3-possession game.
And he does. I'll tell you, when he shoots free throws, what a beautiful arc that he gets on that. A really nice soft touch. And Widener's not afraid to bang it on the inside, and so consequently, it's nice to see a player like that with such a soft touch. Nico Reed driving, they leave him wide open, so no fouls. He gets the basket. Aaron Martin brings the ball in, gets it into Troyer. 21 seconds remaining in the game, and Troyer will be fouled by number 24, Dayton Merrill. That is his 4th. Still a 5-point, or it is a 5-point game. And given the way they can hit threes, 5 points is still quite a few points with 20 seconds remaining in this game, especially if we miss free throws. So Derek Troyer getting ready to shoot his first of 2 free throws. And it gets a little bit of a bounce, and it drops.
The senior has 7 points.
In the first meeting back in November, Troyer scored 15, so a little bit below, but this is probably around what he's been getting. He's a little below average tonight. Troyer with his second shot, also nice arc, soft touch, 8 points. Or 7 rather. Long three-pointer by Smith, rebounded by Taylor Schoen. He's immediately fouled, and you gotta think as they walk down the court to shoot free throws that that's going to be about it for the Lancers.
The Wildcats escaped this one. Boy, about 2 minutes ago, though, Mark, game time, 2 minutes ago, and this was not, we weren't thinking it was going this way, we'll say that.
Exactly.
7 points now, hopefully extending this. But, boy, they were up 21 points. At one point, the Lancers cut it to 3, 1 possession, and we were kind of on our heels there, but recovering, and it's certainly something you can learn from.
Taylor Schoen making his first of 2 free throws, missing the second. Grace bringing the ball down now with 5 seconds remaining. Big, long three, bounces away. Troyer gets it. That's going to do it. The Wildcats own the Grace College Lancers in this season.